Thanks, Rich, for having me on your show again.
Yeah.
So this one, I had to come in and I had to
Okay.
say something
What do you got for me?
because here's the thing with the black pill. Okay, I don't even know the black pill. I don't know what they talk about. I don't know who the influencers are. But one thing I can tell you is that it can't be anything good. And here's why. Because for a long time, I I have always been red pill aware. I have always kind of noticed that there's a schism in society
Hmm.
where it's almost like walking in the twilight zone, where everybody else is plugged in. And for a long time, I was engaging in a lot of communities that were just that were just so plugged in, even bringing up red pill ideas of like, hey, we're talking about equality, but then why is all like I don't see where there's equality. I don't see where this inclusion is.
Hmm.
I don't see if you ask these people to actually live up to the values of diversity, inclusion, and equity, you know, they themselves fall short.
Hmm.
Okay, so without getting like, tied up in that. And so a lot of my anger and frustration before was trying to even make people aware of what I was seeing. And I was not understood by these people. And I have lost friends, lifelong friends, actually from sharing one of your posts
Hmm.
on Facebook,
Hmm.
where,
Which
you
one?
know,
What did it
it
say?
was like 90% of relationships would end if the guy lost his job or
Oh
if a
yeah, that
woman.
one's super triggering. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so I got into an argument with, the guy's girlfriend, and then it just blew up and just went crazy.
But why do they
Now
get
we're not
mad?
friends anymore.
Why do they get mad? Because it's true. People like the closer you get to the truth, the louder they screech, is what I've learned. Okay. And the other thing that I've learned is people don't want to hear your opinion. They don't want your opinion. They want their opinion coming out of your mouth.
So would you recommend going through the world and applying that as like a tactic to just kind
Mhm.
of navigate the world and then
We live in
not
a, I don't know how old are you?
31?
Okay, so I mean, you're a bit younger than me. You're almost 20 years younger than me. So here's what I've seen. When I was a kid, it was sticks and stones hurt, could hurt my, or sorry, what was it? Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. That was one of the lyrics that they taught us. Or it was, I'm rubber and you're glue, and what you say bounces off me and sticks to you. Okay. So that's how they taught kids back then to deal with words. That's how they taught us to deal with, like, things that might not be politically correct or might be hurtful. Today, now it's like words are terrorism or like words are violence. And it's like you can't say anything without offending somebody. So, I just take a look at it. I'm like, okay, I understand the way things are. I am not going to fight that. I don't care. If you guys want to burn it down, if you all want to be a bunch of pussies, and that's cool. My life is sorted. I'm good. And you guys just carry on, sucking each other off. It's all good. You really just have to learn how to surrender to certain things in life. I think surrendering is a very useful skill for guys to understand. And I've talked about it from time to time on my channel. I've even dedicated, I believe, 1 or 2 videos on, like on that topic. So once you see it for what it is, like, why waste your energy fighting it? It's pointless.
Well, for certain groups, do you kind of do you find yourself keeping them like at a distance? So, for example, if there's something like a group that I hang out with because it's convenient, it's fun to
Mhm.
pass the time with them, but then they're not my real friends. Like my
Yep.
real friends are MMA fighters, blue collar workers, or successful in business,
Okay,
right?
so I mean, you just named 3 different categories, and the 5 closest people should be the ones that matter to you, the most. So why do you care about these other people?
Because they, well, my good friends, they don't live nearby. So like the people that I spend time with, I mean,
Okay, but are these people that are trying to impose their opinions and beliefs on you that you don't agree with? Like, are they the people that are trying to hear their opinion coming out of your mouth?
Yeah, actually, you just said it perfectly.
Fuck them. Who cares? Like, as you get older, you are going to change the people that you surround yourself with. You're not going to like. I know one guy from high school, and I've seen him maybe like once in the last 5 years. He texts me like once every few months. Okay, right? It's like, we need to get together, and we never do, because he's an entrepreneur. He's got kids. I've got a kid. I got business that I got to do. I got things that I do. So your paths just may never cross ever again. Like, you never really know. It doesn't really matter. It's not that significant, right? Your circle of influence will change. There's this old saying, reason, season, lifetime. Like, people come into your life for a reason. Sometimes they come into your life for a season, and there's others that come into your life for a lifetime. That's okay. Sometimes people show up to teach you a lesson. Sometimes people show up to teach you what you don't want to be around, right? And there's others that may be around for an entire lifetime. You just have to understand that if somebody around you is like an energy vampire and they're exhaustive, like, I don't know how guys watch negative content, loser content. That's like, oh, you're a loser. You're always going to be a loser. You're not good looking enough. You're never make enough money. The elite rich have all the money, and the DAX stacked up against you. And, it's this culture, it's this religion that's got all the money or something like that. It's like, you know what? Let them believe that. That just makes it easier for me to be successful. That just makes it easier for me to get what I want. That makes it easier for me to get more girls if that's what I want, right? So you have to be okay with leaving people behind. Like, you have to prune to grow, if that makes sense.
Well, that's a great way to put it. When you come, I'm kind of getting to the point where, like, modern life dating. I heard him speaking like last week about something,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about being extremely successful with women to the point that, okay, so I still have this urge, right? And I identify with what he said, because a lot of men probably just want to be in a meaningful relationship, and that's, I think that's pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
But then, for someone like me, I'm not an incel. Like, if I try to explain to some of my friends, they think I'm like some incel guy, but I'm not an incel. I mean, I could go on my phone right now and show you. But it's I'm not an incel, but I still have this urge. Like, I have this urge to find a girl, or almost like this life comes full circle when you finally find that one. And I'm struggling with this
So
because
let me
I
speak to that, because I think I know what you're saying. So let me speak to that, because I want to get to this one other guy here that's in the background area before I wrap up. So I had a conversation with a guy over the weekend, and he said, he basically said, yeah, I'm looking for a girl to move in. And I said, why? And he said, well, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? I think that would be cool. It'd make my life easier. I said, well, why? And I asked him why like 3 times. Like, every time he answered, I just kept saying why, maybe like 3 or 4 times. And then it got to the point, like, he started to realize, okay, well, that's not really, I don't really have an answer as to why. I've just been told my entire life that that's what I should be doing. So I'm 34. So why don't I have this by now? Like, I'm doing something wrong. Like, I've got to achieve this goal to get to where I want. It's like, no, you don't. You don't at all. Right. I mean, if you take a look at your entire family, and, I knew a good chunk of family around all those conversations. There's not a lot of people that are living together in long-term relationships that are like ecstatic to be around each other. I can count maybe on one hand everybody that I know in my inner circle that I would say is in a very happy, productive, long-term relationship. Then you start to realize, okay, well, maybe the goal isn't having a girl move in. Maybe the goal is, if you reframe it to something like being the absolute best version of myself, like being a weapon, so that I can choose who I may or may not want to invite into my life on a long-term basis or a short-term basis, or, with multiple women at the same time. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever the hell you want. But the point being is, reframe the question more towards mental point of origin and less towards conformity to what the societal narrative has always been, which is live with a girl, have her move in, make babies, and, you know, live happily ever after, whatever. Because that doesn't usually play out. You've read my book, right?
Yeah, and actually, I loaned it to my buddy too. So,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
All right. Well, keep asking questions, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Peace.